Joining us to talk about that forecast is Ken Reeves, AccuWeather's Director of Forecasting Operations. Ken, great to have you here with Matt and me on Street Smart. Talk to us about the forecast. How bad are you expecting?
Well, Carol, I expect this to be a top 5 year in terms of activity in the Gulf and the Atlantic basins. Because of all the ingredients we see out there, we're calling for now an upgraded number of 18 to 21 storms. We've been talking since January or February about a very enhanced season, an active season, and now it's looking like even more than we previously thought.
So is it going to be like the year that we got Katrina, Rita, and Wilma? Is that what you're expecting?
Well, that year we had nearly 30 storms, named storms, and that was the record setter. That's the year by which it eclipsed all other records. I don't think we could sit here today in the middle part of June and actually tell you there's going to be 29 or 30 named storms. But we're thinking that there are going to be 18 to 21 named storms and probably 2 or 3 major hurricanes. If you remember back in 2005, we had Rita, Katrina, and Wilma, all major, strong category storms in the Gulf, and certainly that is not outside the realm of possibility for this season.
Is there a scientific reason for this amount of weather volatility? Is it are there signs that point to climate change, global warming, or is it the kind of thing that you just see happen is it a cycle?
I think the latter is the better choice here. There are no signs that this is climate change in any stretch of the imagination. It really ties into warm phases of the Atlantic and the ocean water temperatures in the Pacific as well. And we're seeing the Pacific start to cool now, and the Atlantic will probably follow suit in the next 5 to 10 years. And so this is probably going to start to tail off in terms of really active seasons. But the real reason for this is the declining El Nino and heading toward a cooler than normal water temperature profile in the Pacific, which is really helping to focus the activity, or what we think will be focusing the activity in the Atlantic.
Ken, how accurate do you find your guys' forecasting to be? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but just to get an idea of when you're saying 18 to 21 storms, you're worried about the season. How often does that typically play out?
Well, we've had a pretty good track record of how these storms have laid out. In fact, it goes both ways. In 2006, the year after the really big season, we actually called for there to be virtually no activity in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's exactly what happened. So we called in 2004 to be Florida's year, and they got hit 4 times by hurricanes. So we've had a pretty good track record of looking at this, and I believe right now from where we stand, when the season is said and done, it will be known as an extremely active top 5 season with at least 8 impacts. Now, keep in mind, the normal number of impacts in a season is about 20% of the named storms. So if there are 20 storms, the normal would probably be about 4. We're expecting twice that, 8 storms to impact the U.S. coastline.
All right, hey, Ken, thanks so much for joining us. Ken Reeves there joining us from AccuWeather to talk about the storm season, or the kind of storm season that we can expect.